So speaking of group chats, I'm in a group chat with a bunch of successful tech entrepreneurs and founders. And I would say some of the topics that people talk about are obviously like, how do I sell my family office and taxes? And how do I hire a family assistant? And a lot of conversations around alternative therapy, around psychedelics. But the number one thing that everyone talks about in every single group, whether it's in group chat or DM, is longevity. So one thing I've noticed is there's this whole trend around utilizing the money that you've made to extend your life. And the definition of longevity would be, how can I live my life the longest in good health to do the things I want to do? So the goal isn't to, be sick for 10 to 20 years. Let's say if you're going to die at 80, you're going to have a great life until you're 79 and a half. And then the last few months might be bad, or you just sleep one day and don't wake
That's
up.
it.
So, but that's the goal, is to have a great life
hmm
with no barriers,
Yeah. So that's like health span and lifespan.
health span and lifespan. So one thing that a lot of people have been doing is going to these longevity clinics, and they've popped up all over the country. And I think it was really popularized with Peter Attia, obviously Andrew Huberman, with all the research that they're releasing, but Peter Attia especially. So there's one that I found called Fountain Life. You go there and they give you comprehensive testing for labs, about 2 to 3 days. But I went to the website.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you go get comprehensive testing. What does that cover?
Okay. So first, this is their tagline, which I thought was pretty funny. So Fountain Life is like a country club for precision diagnostics. So I was like, okay.
Okay, so I know it's going to be expensive.
Yeah. And it's $20,000 a year.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Yeah. So people fly there and they give you all this, there's the 4 horsemen
hmm
that Peter Attia describes of how most people will die. So it's like cancer, heart disease, and, 2 others. But most people go there and they give you a full body brain MRI with AI. So AI is like thrown into everything. The coronary CT with AI, bone density scan, electrocardiogram, low dose lung CT with AI, retinal scan. So basically, they're just giving you a full test
Mhm.
of everything. So that's like the comprehensive. And then there's a lighter version of that a lot of my friends are doing. And this is the cheaper version, is just getting your biomarkers tested. A lot of my friends are using Function Health. So you get 100 plus biomarkers for $500. And on their website, it says it would cost you 15 grand if you went at it individually.
hmm
And what people are doing with that information is essentially you can go get your annual physical, you'll get your biomarkers, but those are what doctors have checked forever, for the past 10 or 20 years. With all this new research, there's all these other biomarkers that you can track that are correlated with high risk for heart disease, as an example. And what I've done is I've started to go to a longevity clinic called Bionic Health. So I work with a doctor there. They also use a lot of AI. I don't know how they use it yet. And essentially what they do is they look at all my biomarkers and they come up with a very comprehensive plan
hmm
how to reduce certain biomarkers that are high. So I got my second one done, and a lot of the biomarkers around heart disease, I was really focused on getting those down, and they did come down, which is interesting.
Yeah. Interesting. And so with the one you got a bunch tested, right? And I assume a few of those were out of the normal range. And what does that look like so you get them tested, you get the results, and then do they coach you on what to improve, what you can take, what you can do?
Yeah, it seems that it's the obvious things, right? Nutrition, exercise, sleep.
hmm
Let's just say those are the standard.
Yeah.
No one's going to do those perfectly, right? So I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and have a 50 checklist of things I need to do every day. But, try to eat healthy, try to get good sleep, exercise, let's say 3 to 5 times a week, standard. And then there's all these vitamins I had to take and all these like powders and supplements. And I took them this morning, and every single time I take it, I feel like I want to throw up. Okay, I think that's just like a rite of passage for taking all these vitamins. So I did a little bit of research in them, but I was like, hey, if my doctor's can prescribe them, it seemed pretty standard. So I've been taking those. And those also, I think, had a factor in reducing a lot of the risk.
hmm
There are also a couple other companies that popped up to serve this need that do personalized vitamins. So one is called Elo, and they call these 7-layer gummies. And
hmm
essentially what they do is they send you these gummies every month. And then based on your activity data, so I guess whatever you're wearing gets sent there, and your latest biomarkers, it updates the gummy to hit all the different vitamins. Because I'm taking like 10 to
hmm
20. And I would rather just take
Take
one
one.
little delicious gummy. There's another one called Vitamin Lab that's also does personalized vitamins, but I think that's going to be a new trend
Trend.
where rather than taking this like generic multivitamin, it's a very specific personalized vitamins that you can take based on your biomarkers.
Yeah. So there are two massive trends here. One is the actual like getting your diagnostics actually
Yes.
checking. And it sounds like already it's becoming democratized. You mentioned one that's like 15,
Yeah.
20 grand and the other one's $500.
Yeah.
And then also the personalized medicine. Both of
Yes.
those seem pretty interesting.
Because I think a few years ago, you would have to fly to the top clinics in the world and get on their list. And now I think what people are looking at is looking at this as a great business opportunity because people always pay a lot of money for their kids, for their pets, and for their own health. And I think there's this whole trend around preventative health, medicine 3.0. And I think this is something that has already accelerated. You know, it's not in 10 years, the price is going to come down. It's took a year.
Yeah.
I think that I found that pretty fascinating.
The personalized gummies or personalized vitamins is also pretty interesting as a business. Because think about it, how much do vitamins actually cost? Probably not that much, right?
Yeah.
Also, now you have a good business model because it's subscription too.
Yeah.
So that is pretty
I
interesting.
wonder how hard it is to make those though. That's
Yeah.
probably because I remember there was probably a company like 5 years ago or 10 years ago that tried to do this and it didn't work out because the actual creation of it was so difficult.
Yeah. So actually, my girlfriend does this as her
Oh,
role. It's
how
like,
hard is it?
it's pretty hard because you're trying to package drug. If you think about it in the drug sense, you're trying to package these different like molecules. They all have different things going
Yeah.
on, and trying to get them into one form factor is extremely difficult. That you can, one, a form factor that you can ingest easily, and then two, making it not taste disgusting is also a huge thing.
Yeah. I was pretty skeptical when I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, this seems too good to be true. Like this delicious, like sugar looking gummy that I could
Mhm.
just take. But obviously, I had to put on my entrepreneur hat and I was like, I think this is a great business opportunity because I was thinking about concierge medicine. So concierge medicine, I would describe as basically like flying business class at a hospital. So I use concierge medicine and essentially the premise of that is the doctor that you work with works with less patients, but you have to pay a subscription. So it could be $100 or $200 a month, but it's mostly a replacement for your primary doctor. And if you think about the business I got created off of that model, which is One Medical Group?
Yeah.
So essentially they created these cool modern spaces in all the major cities, and then they sold to Amazon for I think close to $4 billion. And they have 200 locations and like 800,000 members.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And that's just a primary doctor.
Yeah.
So imagine if someone created like a longevity clinic
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of doing all these things where you go in, you get your biomarkers done, you get all your like physical things checked out, maybe mental health where you could even do experimental. Let's say you want to do mushrooms that was doctor assisted. I could see this type of clinic
Mm.
being a huge hit where you pay $100 to $200 a month. You have 1,000 locations around the world.
Yeah.
I could see that being worth more than One Medical Group because this is about having a longer, healthier life.